So he's going to select the fuselage, going to disconnect it, and then he's going to put this in and then reconnect the fuselage. Does that look like a football playbook there? Let's just watch. The Starfield Direct was a hit. Fans and critics alike are praising Bethesda and Xbox for a phenomenal showcase. And while we still have 3 months till release, I think we're going to need all 86 days just to comb through all of this amazing new footage from Starfield. We've seen new combat, new crafting, new character building, and yes, new ship customization. And because you all loved our first ship customization breakdown, I can't think of any place better to start than right here. So let's dive into our new ship customization breakdown video from the Starfield Direct. We start out here with the landing sequence, and nothing to note specifically here except for that they give us just a little wink, a little nod, a little preview of the different kinds of ships we can get. So if you remember the first breakdown video we did from the showcase last June, they showed us about a minute's worth of customization of the ship, but they really only showed customizing the Frontier, that very first ship you get, and really no other like makes and models or bigger or smaller ships. Here from the very start, they kind of give us a wink that says, hey, listen, we're going to dive into all kinds of variety, from going from the Frontier to this big like carrier ship. I love it. And then we get this really cool look at different interiors with all the ship's instruments and controls right here. And don't worry, we're going to probably have another video diving into all these tiny little details in an upcoming video. But first, we'll get to the big stuff. Again, more interiors, more customization, more unique differences depending on what your play style is going to be, whether it be in combat or with ship flying. So there's going to be a ton that you can do to make sure that your ship is your ship and it feels right for you and your play style. Again, we get lots of different first looks at the different ships that we can get. We're going to kind of just watch through this overview that he does, and here in just a few seconds, we'll find the nitty-gritty right into the customization.
Or home, you can make all your own. I think you'll be blown away by the amount of stuff you can do. You can buy a ship.
I'm sure you can find something you like.
Customize and upgrade that ship. And hire a crew to keep it up and running. And it all starts in spaceports. Every spaceport has a ship technician where you can purchase, sell, and modify ships.
Anything I can help you?
Okay, so we just got like a good brief overview of that. Back in the shipbuilding section, it looks like they have made some graphical changes to that, just upgraded it a little bit, like a lot of things with the showcase that we saw. But here, it looks like everything with our ship customization is going to start right here in the spaceport, as they call it. And so right off the bat, we can see that we can, if we just want to come in for some quick repairs, we have the option to do that. And I'm curious if this is going to be like a flat fee, just 1,000 credits, no matter kind of what you have, whether it's small damages or large damages, or if this is just going to be a flat fee. And then we also see that we can modify viewerships. Let me see what you have for sale. We can just buy ships outright. A little bit more on that here in just a second. And you get to ask, where did you say I could sell things? And so we can also engage in a little bit of economy, a little bit of trade here at the spaceport as well. And then we also get to ask, where can I find more crew for my ship? So this is interesting. I'm not sure if this means we're going to be able just to like recruit or hire people straight from the spaceport menu or that system, or if this is more of like, hey, do you know anybody in town kind of thing? And he'll say, oh yeah, there's my buddy over at the coffee shop. He hangs out there and he can fly your ship for you. Or, well, there's actually a good gunner over in the slums right now who hasn't had work in a while. You know, so we don't know exactly yet, but we do know this is where it all starts. And so it's funny, they say maybe you start off with a small, speedy fighter that's good for bounty hunter. And so this is a small ship, but just want to bring it to your attention how small it is. So right over here is a technician or person for scale. And then, of course, there's your ship. So it's still very, very large.
Then you might round.
Of course, we see the ship from earlier that was landing, this big carrier ship. Looks like it has some fuel tanks on it and some other storage capacity.
We'll
keep going.
With a hulking space freighter to run cargo missions, or even
So all the people who are wanting to be space truckers, get excited because it looks like you're going to be able to design your truck, your space truck, however you want to, and put as much style in it or as much function in it as you want. There's going to be a lot of really neat things. So again, they're going to start with the Frontier here, but it's going to escalate a lot quicker than it did last time. So going from the Frontier,
and make some changes.
Start out here, looks familiar so far.
Customize and up.
This is cool. We didn't get to see this last time. And so they do this really neat animation. Let me go back and show you that. So they kind of take it out and almost like a Minority Report thing, kind of brings it out and then like separates it all, which I think is really cool.
You can customize and upgrade every.
And seems like it's a really sophisticated system because it has all of these different parts from up here in the top level, from your cowling, shield generator, Docker, and on to your weapon systems, right? And then we have a big habitat for where your crew is going to live and kind of function. And then, of course, like any good spaceship, we have our engines and on and on. So you see there's lots of different parts, and each one of these, he says that we can switch or we can change or we can tweak. Very, very cool. It looks to be very similar, but has a little bit of a facelift on it. So let's take a look here. We have over here on the left-hand side, information about our ship. So let's just tell you what, let's start from the bottom and move up. So we have our value of our ship. We have the mass of our ship. So the collective mass of all of the different parts here. And that's this is measured in tons. We know that our ship is registered, and so that means that if this is a mechanic, that also means that we can have unregistered ships, which is interesting because we may not be able to bring those unregistered ships into these legitimate space ports, right? If we have unregistered ships where we've stolen them, kind of like, if you had, thinking back to Skyrim and Oblivion, if you've stolen some merchandise or some tools or some weapons, then if you go into a city and a city guard finds you or you talk to a city guard, they're going to recognize that and arrest you or make you pay a fine. So this probably has some sort of mechanic like that. But let's keep moving up. We also see have our weapons system here. We have our lasers is at level 6. We have ballistics at level 13 and missiles at 47. Our grav jump is measured at 16 light years. Our shields are at level 310. We have space for 2 crew members in our Frontier as it exists right now. Again, we can upgrade all of these. And then, of course, our reactor level is 14. And that's going to affect our overall power and capacity to be able to power all these different systems and all these different tools here. We also have different information here about our cargo, our hull, and our fuel. And so this is everything that we need to know about our ship right here in this ship overview. Also looking up here at the top, these are kind of a more visual representation of our ship systems. So again, we can see here laser, ballistics, missiles, engines, shields, and grav drive. And if you see this bar down here, you're like, okay, well, what, if all these bars are named right here, what's this one? This is our reactor level right here. So you see our reactor level is at 14. That's our reactor power level. Right here, we have 14 little notches that indicate, hey, this is our overall power capacity. This is what we have to work with. Okay, so now that we've covered kind of all the information over on the left-hand side of our frame, notice up here, we have Frontier, ship 1 of 1 right there. And this is our home ship. And so that may be like a name for default, or, what is, what's kind of our default ship right now. We also have options to choose in between, to cycle in between our roster of ships, as they call it, our fleet. And then up here in the top right, we still have vendor credits and your credits. So we can sell off pieces as much as the vendor has to buy. We should be able to do that. And then down here, we have our different options as far as inspecting, building, and upgrading. I know we already talked about this, but I absolutely love this view. I don't know if this is how we'll actually see it in the game, but I love how it just kind of spreads out. That may just be like an animation for the sake of the video, but I just think it's really cool. Just want to take a real quick pause out of the video. If you would like the video and even share that with some of your friends or some of your community that you're excited about Starfield with, that would be a huge help to us, help other people who love Starfield find our videos. We're excited about building a great and positive community. Thank you so much. Back to the video. So again, he says there are two options to do this, and let me go back here. There's an option down here that says, again, right, upgrade ship. And so if you hit A, you're going to go into the upgrade mode. And that takes us here. And you see it gives us these options here, right? We have all these different options as far as like where we can upgrade our weapons. And up here, we see that the weapons is what actually is highlighted right now. So we know that's what we're working with. And we'll be able to cycle through different weapon options. And so he has this weapon right here selected on our ship because it's highlighted. It's kind of hard to see because the ship is kind of white. That's kind of like a light blue. But he has that weapon there highlighted. And as he selects it,
upgrade individual system.
It opens up these options over to our right. And these are the different options we have as far as like what we can replace or upgrade that weapon with. Over here, of course, we have the cost. So let's keep moving.
Systems like your weapons or shields.
Going to cycle through those. And another note here, you notice over here on the left-hand side, as he's cycling through these, we see the brand change. From Horizon Defense to his Horizon Defense, Light Sky. Those are the only two we looked at there. But I think the Light Sky, that's a new brand. I haven't seen that one before. I had a video kind of prompted before the Starfield Direct. I may come back to it, but like a look at all of the different brands that we've seen in Starfield so far, because I think that's going to be a big part of hopefully the economy. Hopefully we're going to see a lot of economy in this game, but also just the different customization options that we see in our outpost and our ships. So now he has entered the shipbuilding mode, and the same way, the thing that we want to add or change or upgrade is highlighted, and then all of our options as far as like what to do with that part are over here on the right. Again, we have more specific and detailed information over here on the left. That's going to give us, hey, this has a hull value of 5, passenger slots of 2. This is an armory. And so this tells us right here, actually. Let me move this guy again. The Nova Galactic Habitat modules come in several different interior configurations for a variety of personalization options. So this armory, he mentions this later, but this is most likely a way for you to display or store, your weapons and your spacesuits and all sorts of different things you come across on your adventures and on your journeys, which I think is a really nice touch. Notice right here, as I play through the video, keep your eyes focused right here, right above this red line. You see there are these little notches there. Little notches. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I believe. They're very small on my screen, but I think there's 10 there. Keep an eye on those as I play through the video. He cycles through these different notches. So these are like alternate versions of this same piece. So even though we just have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different options here as far as different parts, different manufacturers, different options, within each of those parts, we're also going to have all of these different alternatives. Now this one looks like it has more. This one has more up here as well. See all those different notches. And then this one just has 2. This one just has 2. And this one has like 4 there. So it looks like there's going to be a lot of variety within the building mechanics, which I know is very, very exciting for all of you. And we haven't even got into the aesthetic customization yet. So there's a lot. There's a lot. Let's keep moving.
To the look and layout.
Now once he selects it, this is cool. So he's selected this new habitat, this new armory that he wants to add to it. So he's going to select the fuselage, going to disconnect it, and then he's going to put this in and then reconnect the fuselage. Does that look like a football playbook there? Let's just watch it. So disconnects it, brings that habitat in, easy peasy, moves it back in, and then he moves on to something else. But notice that we could have moved this. We could have moved this anywhere. Like if we wanted to, I think we could have disconnected all of these parts here too, taken those engines off, or those thrusters, whatever they are there, and we could have put this guy in between there, then move the thrusters back on the side. So we would have had a wider base with the different habitats as opposed to the longer kind of neck that we're seeing here. And so all of those are going to be options, or we could have stacked it, right? We could have taken this part off and then move this part on top right there and then put the top back on. There's so many ways to customize your spaceship. This is going to be exciting. And honestly, this kind of caught me by surprise. I thought that there was probably going to be like a drag and snap, and it's only going to let you make your ships in a specific way or in a certain way so that all of the aerodynamics and everything worked right. But as we're going to see kind of towards the end of this section, you do not have to do that at all. You can really go wild with not only which parts you put in, but how you arrange them, how you color them. It's exciting. Let's keep going. I know I'm getting long-winded here. Let's keep going.
Adding cowling.
All right, so here he adds this cowling part. As we see over here on the left, this is the Nova Cowling 2L-TM from Nova Galactic. That's the same people who make the Frontier, I believe, because we saw in the first teaser, there's that ship manual that's from Nova Galactic. It says structural components are largely cosmetic and allow you to modify your ship's shape, size, personality, and silhouette. So that's cool that even before we get into like the color of everything, we can still add on different pieces that are really just aesthetic in value. There's no function as far as aerodynamics or hull integrity or anything like that, or weapons. It's just for your satisfaction of how you make it look. So again, there's going to be a lot of customizing going on. Again, just for clarification, notice down here at the bottom, this is a cowling piece again. So again, this is just functional. Notice down here at the very bottom, none of these values are going to change because this again is not functional. It's just aesthetic. Let's take a look at that again.
Silhouette.
Once he puts it in there, none of that changes. Puts it in, nothing changes. So again, it's just cosmetic. So in this next section, he's going to take this new and improved grav drive here, and you see all these tiny little like blue circles and spots right here. These are showing you essentially your snap points, like where are these going to snap to. So there is a bit of a guide, so it's not quite as customizable or quite as free as something like Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, where you can put together pretty much anything you can find. You can also put it together wrong if you're not careful. It has a little bit of snapping on it, but you can put something like on the edge or the corner, and if you actually wanted it in the middle, you kind of have to make sure it's going in the right place. I like what they're doing here because they're not letting you play so loose and free with the physics of it all. They're just kind of letting you have fun with it, and honestly, I think this is as much as we could expect. This is so it's going to snap right here to these blue circles. That's where we know it's going. Okay, so now we get to the actual like aesthetically focused color customization of everything. We have our ship here, and notice that up here we have all of our color options. We have color 1, color 2, color 3. So each of these different sections are kind of assigned to color. Probably color 1 is like your main color. Color 2 might be like a highlight color here, kind of like this red here. And then maybe color 3 is like a trim, right? Like a trim, maybe like your cockpit outline there, or your weapons, something like that. So let's see how he does this. I think first he just increases the saturation, kind of everything as a whole. He's going to move this up. Let's see how that looks as he does it.
You can even fully customize your paint job.
Okay,
to get
taking the
exact
brightness down
look you
and then the saturation up.
want. The parts you choose to build with don't just affect your ship's stats. You can have modules for crafting or for storing and displaying your weapons.
And so we touched on this just a little bit earlier, but I think this is really cool that your habitats there are different kinds of habitats. There are crafting habitats, research habitats, store your armory habitats to store your weapons. They've really thought through a lot of this to where, it's not just A, B, and C, and D, but it's A1 and A2 and A3 and B4 and B5 and B6 and all of these different options that you have to choose from. That is just going to really, I would be interested for somebody to calculate, somebody a lot smarter than me. I know I like numbers, but I'm not this good at math. But I would love for someone to calculate how many different permutations there are of Starship customizations as far as the parts and the manufacturers and all of that, because it's got to be just astronomical. Pun intended. All right, let's keep looking. He talks about one more thing.
Starfield's in-game ship manufacturers bring their own look and feel to every piece of your ship. From living quarters to cargo holds, mess halls, and control rooms.
So here he's just making this point that even if you get a control room, there are different manufacturers that are going to have their own aesthetic, that are going to have their own design. Maybe others are going to be much more this looks pretty clean and neat right here. Maybe others are a bit more just kind of functionally designed. They don't look as pretty. They're kind of boxy. Maybe others have like individual stations instead of desks like this. I think in the original trailer we saw kind of like a dark room with a lot of screens, kind of individual stations as opposed to just kind of a group desk like this. So I think that is, again, just really cool, just giving us more and more opportunities to customize how we want our ship to look and feel. And not just like when we're designing it, right? Because a lot of games will do that where, oh yeah, we'll give you a builder, or we'll give you a designer, and it's fun when you're in there designing it, but then when you're actually playing the game, you never see it, or you never really interact with it or engage with it. Here, we know we're going to be able to walk around our ship, and we're going to be able to interact with the people who are manning our control station, or manning our guns, or manning the different crafting stations that we have in there. There is just going to be a lot to do here, and I'm so excited to try every single bit of it. Another little glimpse of just the different kinds of ships that we can make, and all of these look like they're based off of the Frontier.
Frontier is a practical ship, but with a little creativity, your ship can look like almost anything you want.
Okay, and I love this next part coming up, because this is where they show you a little bit of how you can really go crazy with the design of it, which is awesome.
It's a bit odd, but one of my favorite ways of customizing ships is I make them look like animals.
She's like, don't judge me, please. And it's a cool looking ship for sure. This definitely is already starting to look vastly different from kind of that base Frontier ship, right? So already we're seeing that we can really customize things.
The HMS Platypus, as I called it, where it had a giant.
And notice how, she's kind of designed this, to be fun, but also, very practically, look at all of this space she has in here. Then it looks like maybe either some habitats or some storage back here, some massive grav drive and massive engines back here. There is just going to be lots that and even from here, as we're going to see here in just a second, you can add on to these, and you can add on to the engines and more storage and more storage and more habitats and more habitats. I am curious to see what is going to be the thing that is really going to put a cap on what we can do. Is it going to be that reactor level, the reactor core power level, that's going to kind of limit what we can do in one ship? Or can we continue to upgrade and upgrade and upgrade and just put a bigger reactor core in and just continue building on till you got this over bloated, kind of unpractical ship, but it's the way you want it? I'm curious to find out. Let's keep moving.
Tail to it. And we've done.
Here we see these guys, the developers, kind of making this ship right here on their computer screen. And I'm not sure if this is what they're referring to as a spider-like, ship, but it looks like we have kind of the fuselage here, maybe a habitat, and then storage or different habitats kind of all around. And then you have the engines on the side. So again, we're seeing that they're not going for kind of this typical, aerodynamic, sleek looking ship, but they're kind of building up as opposed to building long ways. Again, just kind of challenging the way we think about things.
Spiders, we've done mechs.
This is really cool. I got so excited when I saw this. To me, I know people have said some different things. I think this looks like Optimus Prime, right? Doesn't this look like Optimus Prime from the Autobots in Transformers? Right? We got the head, we got the arms and the guns and the yellow belt and the blue legs. What else would this be? Right? Let me know in the comments. But again, we got the cockpit up here. We have probably all these are either habitats or storage spaces. We have guns and missiles. We have different weapon systems. The engines. Let's roll it a little bit. So I know on the very bottom, maybe those are the engines right there. Let's see. Let's play it.
So it's really whatever your imagination is.
Yeah. Okay, and notice right here, I don't think I've seen this before. Notice these, I guess this is like a landing gear that's retracting up into it. See how that retracting up? Coming back down? Yeah, very cool. And we can see the engines are right there on the back. And what I like about this is, again, this sounds very silly. If you haven't played Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, this may not make sense, but I love that game, and the building in it is very clever, and it's very fun for a lot of people. I think it wasn't fun for me. I don't enjoy getting that meticulous and that involved in the building of things. It kind of stops the fun for me. And they do have a system there where you can like auto build, but you kind of have to do something good first, and then it's in your library. Anyway, I like it how, this doesn't seem to be so focused on like the physics of it all, because if you had rockets right there on the back part of your ship, and this is a big top heavy thing, well, if the physics were right, it would just kind of topple over right there, right, and crash and burn and destroy the starport. But it looks like they're saying, hey, we get it, you just design it the way you want to, we'll make sure it works right. They're not trying to do anything crazy with the physics there. I personally like that. Some of you may think, oh, that's cheap, or oh, they messed up, or they should have done it like Tears of the Kingdom. I think that's good because it's not stopping the fun, and it's still giving you freedom. So we're not going to get into the crew mechanics in this video, but I just wanted to show you that part to let you know that your companions, your different crew members, they have a role to play on your ship if you want them to. I'm unsure if you have to use them if they're on there, or if you can use just kind of more like, hey, work for hire. Can you just find mercenaries out on different planets or different spaceports and just kind of free these guys up to either, if you keep Sarah at an outpost, like, will that increase its research capacity? Or if you keep your buddy Sam Coe over in an outpost, is that going to increase the security? Because I think he's like a sniper. So again, things that we still have questions about a little bit, but very cool to know that you can design your ship with your companions in mind. And so if you're going to have a companion who is a great engineer or a great researcher, you might think, oh, okay, well, I'm going to have a research habitat on my ship, and I'm just going to bring him with me everywhere that I go, and that way I get these bonuses to this research. Or you might say like, well, it would actually be better to keep them at their base and then grab someone for, just kind of have to run the guns at on your ship. All these are decisions that you can make, and I think that is amazing that they let us do that. So let's take a minute and just recap what we've seen new in this ship customization breakdown. We've seen a little bit of an aesthetic facelift on the building aspect. We've seen brand new interiors that we haven't seen before. We've seen brand new, completely different makes and structures and body types of your ship that you can use as starting points. We've seen that you have 3 different options really to customize your ship, either just outright buying a different ship, or for whatever use you need. You can customize it generally, just kind of based on the systems, your engines, your weapons, your grav drive, or you can dive in and customize every single part of it from different manufacturers to different alternate versions of each of those parts that have slightly different variations in their values that they bring to your ship, whether functionally or aesthetically. And we've seen that you can actually customize your ship with different cowling parts that are just for aesthetics, making it look exactly the way that you want it to look. And I absolutely love that they are creating this space really for freedom and for fun, and they're not taking the physics of it too seriously. They're not going to let you build something that's just going to crash and burn on takeoff. It's not too simulation. It's very RPG and very fun, and it wants you to go crazy and just have a good time building some things. So I know that I am personally excited, not to see what I can make, because I'm really not that creative when it comes to this stuff, but I'm excited to see what you can make. Right now, go to our Starfield Signal Discord, go to the shipbuilding forum, and let me know what you have planned to build for your first ship. Are you going to build a famous ship from another, famous science fiction game or movie? You're going to build the Enterprise, the Millennium Falcon? Are you going to build the Normandy from Mass Effect? I've seen lots of people saying that. Let me know what you plan to build first, because I want to be inspired by them, because I am just not that creative. I would love to see what you guys are going to make. So head over to the Discord server. Let me know in the shipbuilding forum what you plan to build first. It's going to be fun. Let me know in the comments which section of the Starfield Direct you want me to break down next. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the video. We would love that. And head over to the Discord. There are a lot of awesome people over there, and it's a great positive community. Thank you so much to all of our patrons and YouTube channel members. You all are amazing. I'm very grateful for your support. If you would like to support the channel as well, you can do that through the links in the description. We also have a merch store where you can get 20% off of all of our merch right now using the code AFTERPARTY. That was for our Discord after party after the Starfield Direct, but I'm going to leave that up for at least this week, and so you can still score some Starfield Signal merch for pretty much cost, because it's like pennies of profit right now. Use that discount code AFTERPARTY and get yourself some awesome merch. Again, I'm Luke with Starfield Signal. Thank you so much for watching, and for now, may you find wonder as you journey through the stars.